All right, I should be live. Welcome everyone to the reaction for One Piece chapter 1181. I'm super excited for this chapter, especially with the way the last one ended, with Loki versus Emu seemingly being upon us. I have not been spoiled whatsoever on this chapter, and I've been waiting all day for this. I've been waiting literally, well, not literally, but pretty much by my desk all day for this to drop because, as I think a lot of you know, the NBA playoffs are on, and the Cleveland Cavaliers play tonight at 8 p.m., and I'm heading over to my friend's place to watch, and I was like, all right, if I'm going to react today, it's got to be early enough, and I really do want to react before the game starts, so that way I'm not, kind of freaking out during the game, wondering what I missed, or trying to avoid certain parts of the internet, you know what I mean? So definitely wanted to react to this today, so welcome everybody. Super duper excited to react to this one for sure. As Dill said, spoilers will get you timed out or banned. Hopefully nobody's trying to spoil it all, but I am going to glance at the chat a little bit, so please don't spoil me. But yeah, guys, super excited for this one. Welcome everybody. Seriously, we've been on a heater lately, and I cannot wait to see where this goes next with Emu and everything. So, real quick, I saw we got a couple member messages. Quanidin with the 23-month member message, almost 2 years, man. That's crazy. It honestly feels like just yesterday to me that you started coming into the chat like first before everybody else and giving me your chapter rating. It feels to me like that was yesterday, but I think you started it around the time that you first became a member, so almost 2 years or something like that. That's crazy. You said 9 out of 10. I'd say great chapter. And now that Emu's been here and we've seen a lot of hype, the scale rating has, or the rating scale has changed quite a bit. So 9 out of 10 is pretty good given the context of everything that's going on. I mean, it's good most of the time anyway, but especially good with how hype it's been. So thank you, Quanidin. I'll take a 9 out of 10 for sure. Good vibes, TCG, my man. Member for 41 months, dude. That almost 3.5 years. That is unbelievable. Time for another banger, dude. I hope Oda's been cooking. I will say, I saw the cover page, and the cover page, it ain't for me, but I know it's for at least one person in the chat. And so, I had to say that the cover page ain't starting out too hot, but it is what it is. I couldn't help but notice that as soon as I loaded it up. I did see the cover page. Didn't look at all the details, but I know what it is. Colin Henley, my goat with the $5. Boss, this chapter is nothing but heat. I need this reaction ASAP. Well, my friend, we're about to get started. And actually, I was also gonna say, this might be somewhat of a shorter reaction today. I say that now, and then with the way things go on this channel, I'll probably be here for like, 2 hours longer than I meant to. But because of the Cavs game, I do kind of want to end this somewhat early because I got to get some food, and then I got to go over to my friend's place and all that. So we are going to get into this reaction very, very shortly. Rapo 96, the other goat, with the 5 gifted memberships. Rapo, my man. Thank you so much for your generosity. Welcome everyone who just joined the Afro Gang, including Dill. Dill, you got a membership from Rapo. That's crazy. And then Gigi's Boxcar, of course, one of the goats of the channel, with the 5 gifted memberships. Gigi, I appreciate you as always for your generosity, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, shout out to everyone who just got a membership from GG as well. Seriously, thank you guys so much for all the support as always. And before I can even finish, the other goat, there's tons of goats around here. It's basically a petting zoo. But my guy Bean Boy with the 5 gifted memberships as well. Bean Boy, my man, thank you so very much. I appreciate you. This must be a good chapter. Mr. Bushido, I was waiting for you to show up. I knew that you would be pumped. 300 out of 10 chapter of the decade. Yeah, for you, for all the carrot stands, this is a 300 out of 10. That is accurate. It's literally, for the carrot fans, a 300 out of 10. And I mean, I'm sure the rest of the chapter's hype, but that cover page, man, that's crazy. I'm looking at it now. That's crazy. Hefesan, and then this will be my last one, and I'm going to get into the reaction because, like I said, I'm trying to be a little bit quicker today. You said you're going to love this one. I'm curious if that's just because it's hype in general, or if there's something that, you know, pertains to me or one of my agendas or something. I'm very much looking forward to it. But either way, yeah, I am. I mean, other than the cover page, I think I will like this one. I haven't been spoiled, but as with the last few chapters, I got plenty of warnings. You know, another hype chapter to get excited about. So very much looking forward to it. So thank you. I don't know if I'm saying your name right, but Hefeson. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but thank you. Also, I did see someone in the chat mention Braun. Who was it? Tucci. You said Braun, the one true goat. Hey, you know, Northeast Ohio, born and raised. Both of us. I mean, you know, it's me and LeBron are basically the same person, pretty much. You know, so definitely shout out LeBron. He's coming home next year anyway. So. But this year it's all about the Spida anyway, so go Cavs. But all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get into the chapter now. Chapter 1181, A God and a Devil. And whenever I saw this, and I didn't see it till I was like loading up the stream, so these are just my initial thoughts, and who knows how, I'm about to find out how right or wrong I am, but I wonder if that's about Emu being both a god and a devil at the same time, or if it's like Loki or Luffy being a god and Emu being the devil, or what the kind of story is with that. But I love the title. That gets me real hyped. First thing I thought was like, oh, is Enel coming back? So we have the god and the devil in the same place. But nah, I mean, that's too crazy. I would have got tons of more warnings if that was the case. But all right. So as I mentioned a few times, we got a carrot cover page, and it's not just any carrot cover page. It's carrot with a jacket that says Queen on it, and she's got the crown on. And the description says Carrot sings as she strolls over sleeping panda sharks at sea. So again, all the carrot fans in the chat, you know, this is big. This is big for y'all for sure. You know, when I first looked at this, I looked at the what are these panda sharks? When I saw the one in the back, I thought his eye looked like a pressure gauge at first, and I wasn't trying to look at it too hard, but I saw that and I'm like, oh, are we getting another nod to the pressure gauge thing? That's just his eye. There's not much to it. I like the little signpost here. It says Zoe and then Ninjin Park. That's kind of cool. I like the carrot buildings in the back, the carrot cloud. That's actually pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, hey, this is for all the carrot stands out there for sure. Y'all enjoy this one for sure. It is kind of cool, like I said, with the carrot buildings and stuff. I do like that a lot. And shout out to the panda sharks as well. But all right, into the meat and potatoes of the chapter. Looks like we got a little flashback thing. Memories from 14 years ago. I am the worst king in the history of Elbaf. You must kill me and take the throne, Loki. All right, my guy Harold. He was only 144 at the end. Giants usually live to 300. He died way too soon. You tricked my dad, right? That makes you responsible for his death. The one suffered most from that inconvenience was Mu. Man, I gotta say, Emu's like, what's the right way to put this? Like self-victimization, or maybe, yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it. Like Emu just loves victimizing themselves. This is like some gaslighting, some mental manipulation. You know, it's like, man, nah. The one who suffered was, well, I mean, Elbaf, but Harold and Loki. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Emu, you got to be king of the world still after that. But now I am interested to see, because remember we heard that the covenants came at a price. I am curious to see kind of how that affected Emu, and what, you know, did they get hurt? Did they actually suffer in a meaningful way because of it, or is it just a power thing? You know what I mean? I am curious to see that, but the self-victimization is kind of crazy when you're talking to Loki. Like, nobody suffered more than Loki, you know? Looks like we're starting off with Loki swinging Ragnir. Damn you. Back then, and we're getting a little flashback montage sort of thing. I don't care about how I'm remembered. That's not important. The only thing that matters is securing Elbaf's future. Isn't that right? back then, what did you do to my father? And now we're seeing a giant lightning strike come down from the sky, which kind of makes sense because Loki's swinging Ragnar, obviously. But the shot of it, it looks... It's like something special is about to happen, I guess, is how I would put it. I don't know if that's a bigger strike than normal, but... Ragna Izuchi. Okay. And it looks like it's about to crush Emu, and then Emu pulls out an omen, I guess, or, well, it's not like the Halo omen, but it's the fire, which, like, I don't know if omen is a catch-all for all of these things or what, but we're using the fire again. And we get this really interesting clash here with the hammer and the fire stuff. You know, the omen, and there's like a gap in between, like you would see with like a Conqueror's Clash, but it's different, right? And you know, we've heard at the very beginning of the arc, and we talked about this a little bit, I think, in the prediction stream a few days ago, or maybe it was on the Discord. I can't remember. They're all like one thing at this point, but we talked about how at the beginning of the arc they said that Elbaf's greatest weaknesses were fire and lightning. And now Loki and Emu are fighting, and one uses lightning, one uses fire. You know, this fight is not gonna probably end well for Elbaf, or maybe it will because Emu will, you know, get kicked out of here. But environmentally, it's not gonna end well. But this panel, I gotta say, is really sick with the omen, like with the smile, like the homie, you know, version going up against the hammer. And what I think is really cool about it is Loki and Emu's weapons are alive, so to speak. Like Emu's, we got to figure out exactly how this is all working, but I mean, it has a face and stuff, right? And obviously Ragnar is also a squirrel, so it's like they're both using like living weapons, so to speak, against each other, and I think that's really cool. And so now let's see. So everyone's like getting flown away by this. We see Lilith chasing after. Is that Sanji and Bonnie? Wait, why would Lilith, or am I, is that him? Because I see the hair. The hair looks like Sanji. I don't really know. But why would those two be together? Because like he just got his butt kicked. I mean, maybe she went to go check on him, maybe. Leo, you said, yep, Sanji is down. Yeah, I'm just, because they weren't together as of the last chapter, were they? But I guess Lilith was like trying to help him, I guess is the idea. But then we see Frankie, Jinbei, and Nami over here. Back to Loki. I can't believe he tanked that. I like the use of tanked. What's with these black flames? What sort of power do you have? Omen. Oh my god, and Emu's arm got real big. Whoa. Omen is simply Mu's military might. What is that? It's like gigantification. Oh, so he just made himself ancient giant size. Oh. I thought this was about to be some like weird like Tank Man parallel or Gear 3 parallel or something. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Shadow's Asgard too, like just the way his arm sort of looked initially, but no, he's just making himself giant, which, so Omen, I mean, he kind of is using it in a similar way to Luffy, I suppose, if you really thought about it. Gigantification, its power dwells in all things. Shout out to my guy Knack Talk for the 5 gifted memberships, Knack. Appreciate you, brother. Seriously, thank you. You did this at a good moment too, because I'm a little stunned right now. W's in the chat for Dak, by the way. Omen is simply Mu's military might. Its power dwells in all things. So the first thing that's coming to mind here, well, actually two things. One, remember Vegapunk brought up how there's like power all around us, and his dream is to figure out how to let everyone tap into it, whatever, right? All that stuff. Feel like Omen might tie to that. But then, what was the other thing I was thinking of? Now I can't remember. Oh, the soul, because like every living being has a soul. So when it says its power dwells in all things, I guess he didn't say living things, but regardless, remember how like Zoro with like the breath of all things, it's like, and like he was like hearing where rocks wouldn't fall and that sort of thing. I feel like between the Vegapunk thing or the soul stuff, there's got to be something there, you know. So let's see. Imu is sending back the Omen thing, which all the parallels that people brought up between this and the Climate Act are just so, like, they're even more true now, because this is just like Zeus getting used by Nami. You know what I mean? It's very similar. Not saying that they have the same, you know, power structure or whatever, but it feels so similar to that. And then we get a clash here that looks really dope between Loki and Imu. I love this. By the way, shout out Loki, because, like, I mean, maybe Loki is about to get cooked here shortly, you know, maybe. But for him even to, like, you know, make Imu gigantify into, you know, matches, you know, attacks a little bit and stuff. Hey, shout out Loki. Very cool panel, though. I love the shading. Looks like Imu is now flipping above Loki, and then he's going in with another attack. Looks like his weapon changed, right? Or is that... It's kind of hard to tell from that angle. Oh my god. Yo, guys, it's all my fault. It's all my fault. I was just hyping up Loki for being able to exchange some blows with Imu. And then he gets stabbed through the chest, the neck. I can't really tell, guys. It's my fault. This is totally my fault. Called Nemesis. Okay. Yeah, so his weapon turned into like a giant sword. So yeah, his weapon can turn into whatever. I mean, which we kind of already knew, I guess, from just like these couple other attacks, but now it's like literally whatever he feels like. Yeah, that's my bad. Yeah, so we got stabbed through like the collarbone, it looks like. Strength is an attribute people naturally crave. And yet, that craving can be easily satisfied via corruption. Imu's kind of cooking right now. Not in terms of, you know, him being a good guy or giving us any important lessons that we need to, like, you know, utilize, but he's kind of cooking with these lines. It's very true. It's you know, he's like, it's kind of like he's telling people, like, if you join me, you join the evil side, you get all that strength that you've been craving, you know. And goes like, we even see Dorian Brogy here. It goes back to Domi Reversi, where he was like, I think Imu said, like, the pinnacle of being is being a demon, or the pinnacle of strength is a demon, or something to that effect, right? So what's about to happen? I mean, this has to be where Loki... I see him getting up already. Loki's got to take a stand here and do something really crazy, I feel like. Hybrid form, maybe? That was like the most common prediction we had in the last stream. It merely requires one to submit their will to a covenant. When their envy drives them, they'll achieve power. And power has a little translator's note. Chikara. It is the stated reading, though it uses the same kanji previously used for omen or maki or demonic aura. Okay, gotcha. It merely requires one to submit their will to a covenant. When their envy drives them, they'll achieve power. Those three things together form a trinity. And Imu, by the way, is... I haven't really commented on this. Imu is swinging his weapon around, the omen thing, like it's a chain chomp pretty much, and then he's swinging it over at Loki. Those three things together form a trinity known as Dominion, and Loki took that attack to the face and it blew up, kind of like Haradin, honestly. I think that's definitely the parallel Oda wants us to take from that. Known as Dominion, shall I grant thee the power of God? In one step, thou wouldst go far beyond humanity. Cough. Wow. Oh, wow. That the hammer's right in Imu's face in the next panel. I don't want it. Okay, Loki. Hey. Yo, I don't know why, but I love that so much. The paneling of it where he gets cooked and Imu's, talking his stuff, and then all of a sudden you see the hammer coming back down on Imu right there. That's sweet. I'm a huge fan of that. That's sick. It's the immediacy of it, right? Because we see him like leaning back, holding the hammer still, and he's like, there's like smoke coming out of his mouth, but then you see the hammer come down right after. I love that. I love that so much. Crackle, crackle, creak, creak, huff, huff, wheeze, wheeze. We got all the sound effects. So God's dominion, that's your power? It sounds more like a deal with the devil to me. Is there a difference between a god and a devil? Loki, you're cooking. Now, I do see a little tail behind you, Loki, but I also see there's a little star thing above your head, so I think you noticed it, but it looks like Imu's tail's like behind him, right? But Loki's cooking now. This little dialogue between them, man, is there a difference between a god and a devil? And then Loki comes in, beats me. Loki, what is that thing behind him? You got, like... You guys see that? Is that going to matter? I'm curious. Because it looks like there's, like, a tail behind him, right? Anyway, Loki comes in, beats me. I just know I ain't going to let myself be dominated by anyone. We got Imu jumping up above Loki. The world itself rejoices in a state of dominion. So this dominion he keeps bringing up, that's obviously the, like, Domi Reversi, right? Like, that's where that's coming from. And I think even when Imu first showed up in Gonko's body, it was like, I'll show you the dominion of God. So, like, dominion clearly seems to be the kind of the whole basis of Imu's power, sort of. I mean, I don't know. The dominion part and the omen part and the devil's fruit part, like, I don't know how it all interconnects, but we're getting some of the pieces of the answer here. I mean, I love this whole exchange, though. So beats me. I just know I ain't going to let myself be dominated by anyone. The world itself rejoices in a state of dominion. Isn't that right? Wait, what's this little flashback panel? Isn't that right? Joy Boy. And Imu is angry. Whoa, wait. Yo, Imu showing this kind of emotion. Wow. I love that. This is a crazy chapter, guys. So this is Joy Boy. Is that what I'm gonna save looking at the chat till later, just because there might be something crazy coming up. But I feel like this is Joy Boy, and then that's got to be Imu back there, right? And so this must be before Imu got this form, I'm guessing. And that looks more like the silhouette, it's just without the crown. Isn't that right? Joy Boy. And now Haki is going everywhere. Imu ain't happy about even thinking about Joy Boy, apparently. What is happening? Luffy is eating, so he can come help probably. Nom nom. Nom, need more, gotta gulp more. I need more, gotta eat more. Chomp, never felt chomp like this. I've never felt anything like this before. Shoe nom, so heavy nom. I'm suffocating. Shoot, it's so heavy. It's like I'm suffocating. Oda, I love this little, Luffy's trying to talk over the food in such an important moment. I think that's great. What's chomp guy's hockey? What's with this guy's hockey? If I don't gulp all this in that gulp, we can't win. If I don't eat all this, we can't win. More, munch more. More. Okay. So Luffy is impressed by the hockey and he's trying to eat so he can go help. You still lost in thought? That tells me one thing. You're underestimating me. Wow. And Emu got sent flying into the Atom Tree. Wow. And now we see Loki went into his full dragon mode. Wow, I thought all the people that predicted we'd see Loki's hybrid, I thought that was like a surefire thing, but we're going right back into the full zone. He's using Thorheim, and we see Emu over here. Looks like Emu just tanked it. Thou really hast returned. A fearless smile. Chapter 1181 end. Wow. Thou really hast returned. And he's smiling. I feel like there's a lot to take away from this, right? Like, we're getting a lot of hints about Emu's Emu's past, Emu's relationship with Joy Boy, all that kind of stuff. Pick up the pieces, because my first sort of reaction to it is that it feels like Emu is almost thinking that, like, Loki is Joy Boy, but I don't think that's... Emu should know better that, it's definitely Luffy with the Nika fruit and stuff, because he says, thou really hast returned, and then we don't see anything else. And since we just heard about Joy Boy before this, it's making me think, like, oh, is he saying, Joy Boy, you really have returned? But, again, I think he should know with the Nika fruit and stuff that it's going to be Luffy. So is he just saying, like, oh, the Nidhogg has returned? Like, one that maybe, going back to the mural, it looked like the Serpent and the Nidhogg were, like, fighting. And if the Serpent ties to the red line, then I think it would, be sound reasoning that Emu... was once opposed to the Nidhogg, so it might make sense that Emu, is reacting to that. But the other part, whatever, Emu's thinking in regards to who Loki is or whatever, he's smiling, right? And is he smiling just because it's like a good challenge, or he's been waiting for this day, like he knew that he was going to come back and now he can take over the world for good? So is it a smile in that aspect, or is there something deeper to it? I feel like we got some really good personification of Emu here, but without really giving away the whole story. So big fan of this chapter. I love this. It's a little bit of a setup chapter, which is crazy to say because we got Emu versus Loki, right? That's like the peak of the peak, or it's up there. But it is like a little bit of a setup chapter, I feel like, because even for the fight, like, it feels like the fights are just kind of getting started with, they each exchange some blows. And again, I was shouting out Loki earlier and then he got stabbed. But now, look, Emu's got some scuff marks. Like, Emu took some damage, or, but that was actually, you can see some blood coming down too from the horn. So Emu definitely, felt some pain there. So, wow. Very cool. Very, very cool. I feel, and even going back earlier with some of the talk about Omen and the Dominion and how its power dwells in all things, like, Oda gave us a lot to chew on, for sure. Huge fan of this chapter. I probably agree with Quandidin that it's a 9 out of 10, somewhere around there. This little panel for me is maybe the biggest takeaway, this little silhouette panel with what I believe is Joy Boy and then Emu back there. Because if we assume that's Joy Boy, like, what's with his head? Right? His head is like that's not a straw hat. And honestly, I mean, it's just a silhouette, and we shouldn't read too much into it. Oda changes the silhouettes. You know, I got to give all those, like, kind of, you know, qualifiers before I say anything. But the silhouette, to me, looks like Ace. Right? Except for the bump or the whatever this is at the top. But it looked like if you told me this was a silhouette of Ace, I would completely believe you with, like, just the shape, the shape of the face and, like, the hair, right? It feels very Ace-esque, or even Sabo. Even Sabo, it feels like one of them. And I'm now thinking, like, it wouldn't be the craziest thing if Oda actually modeled Joy Boy after Sabo or Ace. You know, that actually would be kind of a cool callback, especially if it was Ace, because going back to Roger being the first Pirate King and thinking his son was going to be the one to go find it again and all that, it'd be kind of cool if Joy Boy looked like Ace, but that wasn't really... You know, Joy Boy's, like, reincarnation didn't look like that, sort of. I think that'd be cool, but it feels like Ace or Sabo or someone in that vein. But I don't know what this bump is. What do you... Is that like an ear? Is it something that I shouldn't overthink? Remember when we got that silhouette of Vegapunk, and we, like, the way his silhouette looked, we were guessing all sorts of designs, but then, like... But we weren't expecting his tongue to be sticking out. We thought, like, that part was going to be like a mustache. I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was all sorts of designs people were making off of that initial silhouette, but people weren't expecting it to be his tongue that was sticking out, you know, in the front, in the one silhouette. So that, like, messed up everyone's designs. So I'm taking that same kind of mindset with this and is like, what could that bump be? Could it be something that we shouldn't even think about? Could it be a giant, like, cat ear or something? Tiny Angry Gnome, I totally agree with this. You said the emu silhouette looks like the Vert statue. It does. It definitely does. I mean, you could say it also just looks like anyone with, like, a cloak on or whatever, right? Like a veil sort of thing. But it does look also like the Vert statue for sure. And I remember, like, whenever we saw Emu's design, I had a few people that were... for various reasons, bringing up, you know, my theory, well, not even really mine, because this is, like, really old, but the theory about the Verve statue and Emu being connected. And I was kind of like, well, Emu, like, transformed into this, right? We saw Emu grow wings out of their back and stuff, so I think it's safe to say that Emu does have multiple forms, right? The one we're seeing now isn't necessarily what they look like with the veil. So yeah, I agree. That was something that I kind of thought of right away, too. Like, it's the same shape, it's just without the crown. But yeah, for Joy Boy, like, yeah, could they be like I said, cat ears or something, and we're just seeing him from slightly behind? I don't know. It's very strange. It's very strange. I saw Chryso Man Diaz, maybe? You said it's the front part of the straw hat just tilted upwards. I guess it could be if it's, like, really vertical, though, right? Like... Because, like, I'm thinking back to the other Joy Boy silhouette we got, and it wasn't like that. I guess it could be the hat is just tilted, like, it's almost like sitting on the back of his head, you know? I guess it could be that. I mean, I also need to give Oda a little bit of breathing room with like the silhouettes, because he's usually never that accurate anyway. So yeah, it's probably I guess it's probably just the hat, but like I said, it's just weird that it's, like, that vertical. But again, I'm not gonna overthink it too much, but it does look like Sabo or Ace. It does. It does. I feel like that's definitely what Oda wants us to think. Like, that, the way the hair is reminds me way too much of those guys. You know, it is, like, on point. All right, let's go ahead and get into the super chats. Let's see. Let's see. Colin Henley, I saw that one. Kush Daddy, with the $2. Looks like these fireballs are what ate Sabo's fire. Yeah, good point, because even then, Emu was not in this form necessarily. Now, we don't really know the full gist of why Emu's in different forms in different places or whatever. But it's weird to think about how Emu, was in the other form, but then quickly transformed into, like, not even this, like a completely separate thing, and then ate Sabo's fire. So I wonder what those forms kind of look like. But I agree with you. This power system or whatever is definitely tied to, like, whatever ate Sabo's fire for sure. Like this. What like the Omen stuff, whatever, Dominion of God, whatever the power system is called, I think that definitely granted him the form that let him eat the fire, right? Like, that's definitely the basis of the transformation, I'm feeling like. But yeah, I wonder how that even works. Like, I mean, it could be as simple as, like, this is Emu's devil hybrid. The one with, like, the crown and the silhouette is just his, like, his normal form, and then the one that ate Sabo's fire is, like, the full zone. That's, like, the simplest way. But there's probably even more to it than that. But yeah, I agree with you. Let's see. David Cott with the member for 15 months. Appreciate you, David. Loki's doing well, considering he is injured. Yeah, I mean... like, the injury, I'm a little, with the way One Piece is, I'm like, how much stock do I really put into it? Because what did they say? That he was gonna, like, it was gonna take a month to heal him or whatever. And he got up the same day. And now, I know we have the whole time dilation theories with Elbaf and all that, and maybe that somehow has a role in that month thing that they mentioned, but I don't know. I feel like we're supposed to believe he's back to 100%, but he should still be hurt. You're right. He should be. He should be. And I know after he used his form earlier, he said he was tired from using it because he can only be in it so long or whatever. So he shouldn't be at 100%. Again, as far as the injuries go, I'm a little like, is Oda even counting it anymore? Because like it was, what, like an hour or two ago or 3 hours ago in One Piece time? Like, it's the same day, so he should still be hurt, but in our time, it's been long enough, so I don't even know. But yeah, either way, injury or not, Loki's doing really well. And it's funny looking back on when he got stabbed, because it's like, I thought he was about to be cooked. But no, man, he got up. Like, wow. Davey said, I think he's not at 100%. He shouldn't be. I definitely agree that he shouldn't be. I don't know if Oda is necessarily thinking that way, but you're right. He impressed. I agree. He should be. And even the fact he got stabbed and got up, right? Like, even going back to, like, this injury thing, he's definitely injured in the second half of the battle, right? Like, that is not up for debate. So yeah, very impressed. I wasn't expecting this. In my predictions, I said that Loki was going to get curb stomped, and I thought that was about to come true. But no, man, he got back up. That's crazy. That's crazy. Let's see. Kuya Pixels with the $5. Solid 9 out of 10 chapter, not including the cover story. Now with the cover story, it's a 7 out of 10. Yeah, it's down to like a 2. But we are getting spoiled with banger chapters. Hashtag Loki for Nakama. I hope Loki for Nakama. I feel like it's not gonna be immediately after the like it's gonna be a Jinbei or Yamato thing. I feel like for sure, where Oda's gonna Loki's gonna be like, yeah, I'll join, but not right now. That's where I'm at. But especially with how strong he is, honestly, because like if we bring this guy around, like, man, we don't even need the monster trio anymore. Just let Loki do his thing. But yeah, hopefully he does join. But yeah, these have been some amazing chapters. Loki, I'm really happy and impressed with how Oda's really done Loki up to this point. You know, he's made Loki a character that a lot of us care about. He's intriguing for all sorts of reasons. I mean, the strength part, the emotional part, the past, the stuff we still don't know about, because we still don't know about at least the full gist of the Lola thing, or even like when he fought Shanks, like exactly how that went down and all that. So like, there's still more to learn. He's got to go save the Gale Ra Giants. Like Oda's done such a good job with Loki. It's astounding, honestly. For him to introduce well, not introduce because like we knew he existed, but for him to introduce a character so late that, at least me personally, I feel like I have become attached to, and in my experience, I feel like a lot of people have become attached to. It's amazing. I definitely hope he joins, but like I said, I think it's going to be a Jinbei or Yamato round 2 thing. But yeah, man. Great chapter. Thank you, Kuya. Cloud Lizard with the $5 super chat. Crazy chapter. Did you catch the 16 eyes in Emu's ring? In the silhouette, it seems like the blob could have ears going down with an animal, mink. As far as the first part, I know whenever I looked before, and I know Cymex from the Discord also brought this up, we could only see 11, but now we do get a clearer shot of the whole thing from behind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There are 16 eyes back on the ring. So that's it. That's interesting because like Lelucia had 16 beams. You know, you had the Doflamingo 16 Holy Bullets thing. I think Emu in a certain context can translate to 1/6, right? Or something like that. So very interesting for sure. And then you said, it seems like the blob could have ears going down like an animal. Yeah, that's what I thought at first, too, for sure. That was my first thought. It looks so weird, but I think I agree with the chat that it's just the straw hat pointing up. But it is positioned in a way that you would think it might be something else. But I think I'm going with just a straw. I mean, that's the easy answer, is the straw hat. But it would almost be more intriguing if it wasn't, you know. But yeah, the 16 eyes are really interesting because, like I said, we saw 11 before, and I thought that was even interesting. But 16 is the most interesting number, probably. I guess 20 maybe could have been a little more interesting for the 20 Kings, but 16 is right up there as well. Let's see. What's the next super chat? Koth. I'm probably gonna butcher this name. I apologize. The Sekirai? Is that it? Ko the Sekirai? Am I saying that right? I thought it was going to be one whole thing, but maybe it is just Ko the Sekirai. With the $10 super chat. Appreciate you, Ko. In FGO, King Solomon had created Ars Goetia. Please, I apologize for anything I'm mispronouncing. King Solomon had created Ars Goetia, and after Solomon died, Goetia possessed Solomon's body, becoming the villain for the story. I wonder if this is something similar and they were friends. Let me look this up real quick. Hold on. What is FGO? Is that Fate Grand Order? Is that FGO? I'm just trying to get a grasp for what this is. Is FGO Fate? Okay, thank you, Time Lord. FGO Fate Grand Order. Okay, gotcha. I looked up FGO and that was the first thing, but I was like, I have no idea if this is the right thing. And before I start talking about Fate Grand Order, I should probably make sure that's what it is. So you said King Solomon had created Ars Goetia, and after Solomon died, Goetia possessed Solomon's body. So are you saying? So hold on. King Solomon created this other being, and then once the king died, that other being possessed their body. So are you saying that Joy Boy created Emu? Is that kind of what you're getting at? I see you're in the chat. Not saying it's a direct reference, but similar idea. Yeah, no, I totally get you. So are you saying that Joy Boy created Emu and that's the story? Or are you saying that you said he summoned created the demons? So is that in FGO or in One Piece? Because I think this relationship with Joy Boy and Emu, based off this panel that we're seeing here, and maybe it's just how I'm reading it. It is, you know, it's just two silhouettes in a panel, but it's almost like they're friends, right? It's like they're companions in a way. And like, I don't know, maybe friends is like a, you know, too strong of a way to put it, but it doesn't feel like they're just enemies here, right? It feels like there's more to the story. And the way that, you know, Emu's talking about the world itself rejoices in a state of dominion, isn't that right, Joy Boy? It's like they had discussions about this, is the vibe I'm getting. Like, they talked about, I don't know, the way the world should be, or this dominion thing, or maybe Joy Boy could use the same power, and he was like, well, it shouldn't, I don't think we should use it for this bad stuff, you know? Ko, you said, I think Joy Boy was on the 20 Kingdom side, since Vegapunk said the past could be morally complicated. Yeah, I definitely don't think Joy Boy was on the Ancient Kingdom side. Now, being on the 20 King side, he may have been kind of like neither here nor there about it, because maybe he also wanted to change the status quo, but not the way Emu did. But maybe that's sort of the origin between Joy Boy and Emu, is that they both recognized that the way the world or the Ancient Kingdom was working wasn't good. And so they both created their own sort of visions for the future, but they were completely opposite. You know what I mean? I definitely think Joy Boy's role is a little more gray. Because, like, even Luffy right now, right? Luffy isn't on the side of, like, any big alliance, per se. Like, he's made alliances with other pirates. But, like the Revolutionary Army, Luffy does not care at all about that. The Revolutionary Army, to me at least, is a little bit more of what the 20 Kings probably were. Because even the Revolutionary Army, they're getting other countries to align with them, right? Like, they're getting the people and the leaders to agree with them. They got to change the status quo. It's sort of the same story there. But Luffy is sort of just doing his own thing, right? Yeah, he sees injustices and takes advantage, or not takes advantage, but takes care of those injustices and stuff. But he's not like a part of a group that's specifically planning on doing this. He just wants to go get the One Piece, right? And so I feel like Joy Boy is in a similar boat, where Emu probably had this whole plan, and Joy Boy's like, that sounds cool, but I'm good. And like, now Emu, you know, took over the world and is evil and all powerful, but maybe at the start that wasn't really how it started, you know? I saw a couple of you guys say friends turned enemies. Exactly. And like, and they may be enemies like by force, like in a way where like they didn't even really want to fight each other. It's just once they got to the very end, it's like they kind of had to, or honestly, maybe Joy Boy even died before he got a chance to fight Emu, right? Like, I'm sure they boxed at some point, but maybe he didn't die to Emu. He may have died somewhere else, and now maybe like Emu's been waiting for it or something. I don't know. There's a lot of interesting angles for sure. Plumed Black Hat, you said Emu was on Joy Boy's crew. That's also interesting. It could be a little bit like, I was gonna say like Law and Luffy, but I don't know if that's really the best example. But like, you know how like they're friends and like they've been on alliances with each other, but they're also not necessarily partners at the same time. Like, it could be a similar vibe to that. Ko, you said he could have been the one who summoned Emu, or they were allies. Yeah, like Joy Boy being the one who showed Emu how to use the omens, and then Emu just took that and used it to like a crazy degree, and you know, used it in the wrong way or something. I think that would actually be really compelling, right? Like Joy Boy, his hockey or whatever was the first one to tap into all this weird abyss stuff that's going on. And then Emu's like, oh, show me that. I can use that, you know, too. And then everything kind of spiraled from there. I think that'd be kind of cool too. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, I definitely like the idea that like their origins were very different than we're expecting, because I feel like a lot of us are thinking, you know, Joy Boy and Emu, they were just villains the entire time. It's like Blackbeard and Luffy all over again, which even that, like, I mean, it's mainly because Blackbeard's going after like Luffy's friends and family and stuff, but you know, they've kind of been enemies from the get-go with the cherry pie thing and all that sort of. So maybe it is a lot different where they were once on the same side. Or one of my favorite theories, actually, and it goes back to Joy Boy kind of looking maybe like Sabo or Ace or something, is that Emu and Joy Boy could have been, and maybe Davy Jones could have made like an Ace, Sabo, and Luffy sort of trifecta, right? Where they were all friends as kids, but have very different dreams and outlooks and went their own different directions, sort of, right? And if that is true, if that parallel ends up being true, but Joy Boy actually looks like Ace or Sabo or a combination of the two, I think that'd be so awesome, honestly. Maybe Emu used Joy Boy. I feel like Joy Boy, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Joy Boy would be, because now that Luffy and Loki were able to not be reversied, I feel like Joy Boy probably didn't get reversied and probably didn't get like controlled or whatever by all these other powers. But then like using him in terms of like fooling him, I think that is possible, right? That Emu told him one thing and he's gullible and just believed him and went for it, right? Like something like that I could see, but I don't think Joy Boy would get like literally controlled and used or anything. All right, next super chat, just so I can keep moving so I can make sure I end on the right time here. Rapo with the £2 super chat. Maki seems to have created a room in the last panel. Let me go and take a look. Yeah, I guess, yeah, you're right, because Emu does put up like the little, like the three-pointer, the Buddha three-pointer hand sign, and then whenever the explosion's done, you can see Emu still there holding it. And so I wonder, and you can see the explosion to the side of Emu in that same panel. So you're right, Emu might have like created a little force field around himself. Is that, like, I can't tell if the explosion's to the side or if we're supposed to see that as the explosion like around him, you know what I mean? Because it's kind of a small panel. But I think you're right. I think I mean, I would imagine he probably still took some damage, but it does look like he made a little force field of some kind, or he got tired from it or something, you know. But because we can see the little scuff marks on the side that weren't there in the panel before that, but there was blood before that, so maybe Oda just didn't draw the scuffing. But it does look like he made a little protective bubble. Huh, I didn't notice that. Man, I love the hand sign for some reason. Like, but next time I go play basketball and I hit a 3-ball, because look, your boy shoots the threes. All right, that's been my thing since well, high school, really. That's gonna be my symbol from now on. Whenever I hit threes, I'm definitely putting out the Emu hand signs every time. And if the first person to know what the reference is from, I don't even. I'm gonna be real pumped. We're gonna have to stop the game and start talking about some One Piece if he recognizes it. But yeah, it does look like he blocked it, or like, again, I think he probably took some damage, but he definitely lessened it. Which, regardless, Emu trying to block it really shows how strong the attack is, right? Because like, if Emu wasn't really worried about it, Emu would just sit there and let it happen. But this is showing that it matters. And I want to shout one thing out real quick that I just thought of, because this wasn't confirmed or anything yet, but I've brought this up a few times and I think there's something to it, where it feels like lightning is super effective against the Gods Knights. Because Harold technically died to a lightning strike, and when Luffy punched Summers with his electric punch, it canceled all the powers out. And again, it's not confirmed, but I feel like that's two weird instances where lightning did a lot of extra work against the Gods Knights, did things that nobody else was able to do, right? And so now that Loki's shooting lightning at Emu, is Emu extra worried about it because it's lightning? You know what I'm saying? Like if Loki was shooting anything else, would it not be as worrisome? But this is like super effective against Emu for some reason, which would be really cool, because like Luffy being rubber, he's immune to electricity, so if Emu was super weak to it, that's just a cool little combo. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know. That there might be something to that. But Alexander Fiorello with the $2 super chat. Looking cute today, Dak, like always. Like the stream. Alexander, I appreciate you very much. Thank you. I won't lie to you guys. I did get out of the shower probably 10 minutes before the stream, and I was about to put my hat on. I got it right here. But I was like, you know what? The hair looks pretty good. You know, the way it dried, it looks pretty good. It looks all right. We're gonna hop on. You got fresh and clean Dak for the stream. I had to be ready to roll for this. It was a big day, you know. So, Alexander, I appreciate you. Seriously, thank you for your support as always. Also, I just noticed this too while I was looking at the panel, and I feel like one of you guys, or multiple of you guys probably, have included this in the chat, and I just haven't seen it yet, or maybe it's in a super chat, but I just noticed it. Right before Emu gets hit, there's like it's very small, but it says Nidhogg. I honestly didn't see it the first 4 times I looked. So whenever Emu says, "Thou really hast returned," he is definitely talking about just the Nidhogg, because like, I didn't see that, and so the thing before it, the last thing Emu said was like Joy Boy, and I'm like, what is he talking about? But I see Nidhogg right there, so he's definitely just talking about the Nidhogg returning, not any more Joy Boy stuff for sure. And again, I think some of you guys probably said that, but I just wanted to mention it since I saw it. Hefesan with the €2 super chat. The hair reminds me of how Oda drew Iñaki. Oh, yeah. No, good point. It is a very similar vibe, right? Like the little curls on the end, sort of. Or I think that's what he wants us to think of. It's like, it's kind of like scraggly, curly hair a little bit, right? A little like mop head sort of vibe. It does kind of look like that. Man, what a come up for Iñaki if it ends up being that Oda bases the Joy Boy design off of him, you know? Like, I would like to think that he had the Joy Boy design figured out a long time ago, but if he changed it to look like Iñaki Godoy a little bit, man, that'd be big time. That's the biggest accomplishment he's ever had, probably. Vasil Vlad Ivanovici with the £5. Looking at Joy Boy's hair makes me believe that Oda's going to give him the design he did for Inyaki's Luffy. Wow, you guys super chatted that right after the other. That's crazy. Yeah, like I said, if that looks like Iñaki Godoy in the end, that's got to be the #1 thing on his resume, and it's a good resume. You know what I'm saying? One Piece live action, the main character, and he's done other stuff too. He wouldn't get this role if he didn't, have other successes. I just don't know what they are off the top of my head. But if he ends up looking like Joy Boy, that's got to be #1 on the resume. Like the resume, whenever you put your name at the top, it's got to be like Iñaki, in quotes, Joy Boy Godoy or something. You know what I mean? It's got like that. It's got to be the first thing that you say. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I feel like Oda's had this design on lock from the very, very beginning, and maybe it's just me. I don't think he would change it. As much as he loves Iñaki, I don't know if that's what he would go for, but it would be kind of cool if he did. It would be kind of cool. I'm still leaning an Ace or Sabo mention, especially Ace, because just that callback would be sick. And again, the Roger thinking that his son would be the one to find the One Piece and all that. Like, there's just so much to take from it. But Iñaki would be great too, man. that would be awesome. That would be actually really cool. That'd be really cool. Vasil, you have another one right after this. This chapter solidifies the idea that Emu will not be the final villain. His conflict is still with Joy Boy. Blackbeard is the one who's in conflict with Luffy. Yeah, well, you know what's interesting about that too is that Blackbeard he's sort of been in conflict with Luffy, but not really directly, because the Ace thing, he was actually going for Luffy, so that is like the most direct conflict I would say that they've had. But the Ace thing, it's not like Blackbeard went after Ace to go upset Luffy. It's just Ace kind of showed up in his lap. And then, like the Garp thing, and Kobe actually went to Blackbeard and like offered himself, like, hey, free all those Marines and take me instead. And that just happens to be Luffy's friend. And then Garp, he goes to save Kobe. That just happens to be Luffy's grandpa. So it's like Blackbeard's issues or his overall plan really isn't about Luffy, but eventually it will have to be. You know, I think Blackbeard, you know, I feel like he understands that at some point, whenever all this final war stuff happens, you know, like the other emperors are going to have to get defeated by somebody or whatever. So I think eventually he knows that they'll be, you know, in opposition, but they really haven't been very much. But I still agree with overall what you're saying, though, that Emu won't be the final villain because Emu's conflict is with Joy Boy, but Blackbeard's conflict should be with Emu, right? Or with the world government, because like Emu or the world government, Domi Reversi, whatever, is really the reason that Rox died. And so if Blackbeard is trying to avenge his dad in any way, then, you know, he's going to want to hurt Emu or the government for that reason. But he also wants to be the king of the world, I mean, and the pirate king and stuff, but he's going to have to take Emu down in order to do that. So I feel like, yeah, Emu's conflict is definitely still with Joy Boy more than anything. But Blackbeard's is with Emu. And so then Luffy's is, I guess, with Blackbeard. Like, he doesn't really, like, it definitely is because he wants revenge for Ace still and everything, but he doesn't even really know about Garp yet or whatever. So he hasn't, like, talked about Blackbeard much recently, but I guess it'd be Blackbeard. So there is kind of like a little bit of a triangle, like an incomplete triangle going on about like who's really going after who. But I do think the ultimate point that you made is still correct, that Emu won't be the final villain, because I think Blackbeard is going to defeat Emu or absorb his powers, or, you know, whatever's going on. Taking the devil's fruit sounds like a pretty strong theory to me. And then Luffy will have to beat Blackbeard after that. It feels like is sort of the setup here. But yeah, I agree though that Emu won't be the final villain, at least in the sense of like the final person Luffy has to defeat. You know, I could see Emu sticking around even after Blackbeard like beats him, quote unquote, or if Blackbeard takes his fruit or whatever. I could see Emu still being relevant after that. Like imagine Blackbeard takes his fruit, but for some reason Emu doesn't die from it, or like he doesn't have to die first, because Blackbeard has some weird something he does with that tarp or whatever, right? I know Whitebeard died like right before that, but something's weird going on with that, right? So if somehow Emu can lose it without dying, I could totally see a world where Emu's still relevant after that, right? He just gets the powers taken, but then he's like almost helping us in a way. I could definitely see a world where something like that happens. So then he's not like, you know, gone for the rest of the story, but he's not the final villain. I think something like that would work. But yeah, this Joy Boy and Emu thing is probably like, I don't know, my number one takeaway in terms of I need to see what the truth is here, right? Like, what was their relationship? I don't know. I need to see it. Cloud Lizard with the $5 super chat. We need to look at Afro and L and his trinity based on drums. Do you think the Straw Hat could be Luffy's Omen? Emu's Straw Hat likely has Joy Boy's energy. I like the connection with Emu's Straw Hat. And actually, speaking of that, assuming that this is a Straw Hat in the silhouette of Joy Boy here, that's gotta be what Emu has in the freezer, right? It's that hat right there. It's gotta be. And judging based off how he's reacting, I feel like he just kept the hat as like a memento for missing his friend or something. I don't know. I didn't even really make that connection, but thinking about the Straw Hat in light of all this is actually really crazy. But you said we need to look at Afro and L and his trinity based on drums. Can you explain that a little more with the trinity part? I guess like what would let me go. I'm trying to go reread the SBS. Did he say something? Wow, look at that punch perm. He looks like some old lady. Oops, I shouldn't have said that. Run for it. Rumble, rumble, kaboom. I don't know if that's what you were even referring to. Like, I mean, I know what you meant by Afro and L, but I don't know if you even really wanted me to read the text. But I gotta say, whenever he says he looks like some old lady, I'm starting to wonder if there's more to that. You know what I mean? Is there some old lady that we're supposed to think of in regards to that? I can't think of who that would be. You said his drums have a trinity of circles that look like the omen fire. Oh, so you mean like how the Enel, like his drums have 3 symbols. Got it. Okay, I was because at first I looked at it and I was like, well, there's 4 drums, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. But you're right. It does have 3 little swirling like black icons. I forget what there is a word for it. I forget what those are called. I wonder now. I mean, my first thought is like, where is he even getting that from, right? Like, if it is Emu related, I mean, I guess Emu or somebody who's using Abyss stuff had to be a big factor up in Burka or something, right? But yeah, it is interesting because you could make a little connection between those and like the kind of black flame omen things we're seeing now. I didn't really think about that, but you could. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to really take away from that. Also, I see Kuso land in the chat. Kuso, appreciate you for sliding in. Oh, actually, you've been here for a minute. I just noticed. Hope you enjoyed the chapter, Kuso, by the way. This is a great chapter. I'm very curious about this Emu and Joy Boy stuff now, Kuso. That's the big question for me. But yeah, Cloud Lizard, you also said, do you think the Straw Hat could be Luffy's omen? I mean, for me, I would say no, because it feels like an omen is it's very much specifically this fire stuff, right? And like maybe loosely you could say like, oh, the Straw Hat motivates him or gives him extra power or whatever, so it's similar. And like that kind of parallel I could get behind. Even the fact it's like circular, it sort of goes around him, right? You could maybe reason that, but I don't think I wouldn't call it an omen in the sense of like, you know, these omens are obviously like very specific power structure, like they come from a specific source and stuff, you know what I mean? So like I think there's definitely a parallel there in terms of what motivates you. Or even like here he's talking about, you know, submit your will to a covenant. You could maybe reason that Luffy has a covenant with Shanks to keep that hat and to get really strong and to go get the One Piece and all that, and so maybe there's a little bit of a parallel you could make. And again, I wouldn't go as far to say that it is his omen or you know, to think of it that way, but there definitely could be a little bit of a parallel there in terms of just what powers you up, you know, in a given moment. Plume Black Hat, you said Luffy's omen is the will of D. That's also an interesting thing to think about, because it says like, you know, it merely requires one to submit their will to a covenant. And so, yeah, is the will of D like a will that is specifically against working with Emu in some way, right? Like, can the will of D automatically not be entered into a covenant because their will has already been submitted to another covenant? We might actually be cooking. Hold on. I don't know who that covenant would be sworn to. I mean, going back to the D stands for Davy, it could be a Davy Jones thing. They all submitted their will to Davy Jones instead. But whoever it is, whatever the will of D is, it would be sort of fitting if these people way back then submitted their will to a different person specifically so they cannot be Domi reversied later, right? So whenever Emu tried Domi reversing Loki and Luffy and it didn't work, and he said these two are truly, and he got cut off. It could easily be like just these two are truly among the will of D or something, because like maybe Emu was thinking, you know, just because you have D in your name, maybe that doesn't mean that you're actually, you know, tied to whatever covenant these people made. But we do know that Elbath was also of the D, right? Like we heard that kind of loosely from Emu at some point. So it could be that like maybe they're both like true D clan members or whatever, and so they just can't be submitted to another covenant, maybe, is sort of the idea. I don't know, but I do love that. It's just they're already tied to another covenant. They're spoken for. They can't, you know, they can't work with anybody else. Kuso, earlier you said Fire chapter, brother. JB lore is always appreciated. Absolutely. Anytime. I mean, we saw JB for the second time, or is it the second time? Because we saw him a little bit during Egghead as well. I think the second time. But also, Figment, I saw earlier you said the panel of Bonnie jumping with someone out of the way has me confused. What's going on there? I was also confused. But what I think is happening is that, you know, the hockey clash had like a big shockwave. And I think Lilith was holding Sanji and Bonnie, but the explosion knocked them both out of her hands, I think, is what happened. But yeah, I'm a little confused too, because like Sanji wasn't with them, I think, the last time we saw. So yeah, I was confused too. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get to the next super chat, but I do really like that Will of D sort of idea. Green Owl 2834. Nemesis kind of looks like Mihawk's sword. Let me go back and look up here, because the sword was kind of interesting. Let me look up Yoru real quick. Yoru, the painted blade. It's similar. It's not the same. I think there's another sword. It's similar in that it has like a really long, what do you call that? Like not a guard. I guess it's a guard. I don't know. But it's like, it looks like a cross, right? It's similar in that. But the overall design is a lot different. But I do think we've seen a sword in One Piece that has little knobs on the end like that. I'm just trying to think of whose it was. I'm just going to do a quick glance on the wiki page and see if I can see it, but I'm pretty sure we saw one like that somewhere. Maybe... No, nope. Yeah, I don't know whose it was. I'm pretty sure we've seen one like that, though, with the little knobs on the end. I just can't think of who it was. Ryuma's? No, Ryuma's has... It's like a typical sort of katana thing with like a little, like a small guard near the hand, like it's not really circular, but roughly circular. This one has like it's like a long guard, right? It's like it makes the whole thing look like a cross. So it's similar to Yoru in that aspect, but those little knobs on the end, those I know we've seen somewhere. Maybe it was one of the general zombies, maybe? That's crazy if I got that right. Oh, you know what? I think it is. I think it's the one with the it's like he's like has a really long neck. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this. Let's see. Yeah. Oh my God, I was right. That's when you know you've been digesting too much One Piece. Let me see if I can get a better picture of this guy. But yeah, he has that sword. And what's really crazy about this entire point is I remember I did a video right when we learned about the Gods Knights, tying them to the General Zombies and saying it's going to be very similar. I'm not going to run through the whole thing, but I think there's a lot of reasons to kind of look back at this. I mean, they were even called, or the Holy Knights were called zombies at one point. And so now if we're gonna bring back one of these guys, who was it? Was it one of them that we have a name for? I don't think so. Oh, I can't find him on the general zombie page. All right, I'm just gonna pull up the other image that I found. Well, now I can't find the original image. It's gonna be kind of hard to see here. I don't know. Is this one gonna work? I'm trying to find a high-res version for you guys that'll be visible. I guess this one will work for now. So this guy all the way on the right. Let me zoom in for you. See this guy? That's the same sword as Emu, pretty much. That guy right there. See how it has like the little knobs on the end? That is the same sword as Emu. And I don't know, again, if we have a name for this guy, because a lot of these general zombies were actually Rocks pirates, right? So that's like a crazy connection to Emu and stuff anyway. This guy, I don't think we had a name for. But yeah, he had a sword just like it. And like I said, it's crazy that I remembered that somehow. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to really take away from that, but it is interesting that Oda would pick that design for it, right? I don't know. Real quick, I am going to refresh the page because the chat froze on me a while ago. But for the next super chat, Mr. Bushido with the €5. Just finished the chapter. All I saw was the cover. This was definitely my chapter, LOL. Loki's weapon changing shape reminded me more of Nami's climate attack with Zeus fused with it. Completely agree. I know you just got caught up on it, but during the chapter I said that same thing. I forget exactly verbatim what I said, but it looks so much like Nami using the climate attack. It's scary how similar it is. And I think that's definitely the connection Oda wants us to make from it, right? Like, I brought this up, was it the prediction stream? I can't remember, but I brought up how I think Zeus is gonna eat an omen cloud because he already loves eating black clouds. It's like his favorite food. That's part of why he's with Nami now anyway, is the black clouds, right? And so I feel like he's gonna eat one and get another power up, and then I don't know. I mean, Nami versus Emu sounds like the craziest thing ever, but I feel like at least for a clash it could work. Because like you also think back to how like Zeus got fused into the climate attack in the first place. Like Big Mom was trying to kill Zeus, right? And it just kind of worked out in Nami's favor that he actually got merged in the climate attack in Hera's mouth or whatever, right? So I think there's going to be some weird shenanigans where Zeus eats one of these omens and Emu's like in disbelief, you know, like his Emu didn't think that was even a remote possibility to happen, sort of thing. But yeah, definitely a lot of similarities. And yeah, no, this was definitely your chapter, Bushido. That's for sure. Then you also said Maki exists in all living things. Sanji and Zoro hype. Yeah, I mean, after last chapter, I know there was a lot of talk from me included about, you know, like this is definitely leading towards Sanji getting black flames eventually and truly becoming Black Leg Sanji, and also Zoro getting a black blade. Right? Like, we know that you can forge them somehow, and we don't really know any details, but that's what we've been told. So now we're seeing black flames, like, that are probably really hot, I would imagine. That would probably, if you're going to forge a black blade, there's probably going to be some heat involved somewhere, or at least there could be. You could reason that. So I feel like black flames are, like, naturally the perfect thing to forge a black blade. So, yeah, those two figuring it out and using it, I think there's a good chance. Terrible TJ with the $2. I got to read the chapter. Be right back. Like the stream. TJ, my goat. That was 30 minutes ago, so maybe you're back by now. But thank you, brother. Seriously, appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I got to the chapter like right away today because, like I said, I was on standby because I knew the Cavs were coming on soon. Well, it's at 8 p.m., but got to get all my ducks in a row, so I got on right away. But thank you, brother. See, we just got actually, we got a decent amount more. All right, I'm going to speed up a little bit so I don't get too behind because that does tend to happen. Mr. Bushido with the €5. My three brother theory, Luffy A. Sabo, Luffy... My three brother theory, Luffy A. Sabo, Luffy Kid, Law, Garp, Roger Rocks, Joy Boy Davy, and Emu. I think they were brothers. They were friends turned enemies. Yeah, we actually brought this up earlier, or like probably after you super chatted it, but I hadn't seen it yet, so I don't know if you were there for that part. But I did bring that up because I feel like I mean, we don't have a ton to go off of, but I feel like the idea that Emu and Joy Boy were friends or brothers or whatever growing up, I feel like there's a decent chance. You know, it doesn't feel like they were completely on opposite sides their entire life, right? So I think that's definitely a possibility. I've actually, and not saying that you took it from anybody else, but I know I've heard that idea from other people as well. And I was honestly debating doing a video on it, and I already had like not a thumbnail made, but I thought of a cool one where it would be just like Ace, Sabo, and Luffy exchanging the sake cups, but it's like, you know, child version of Emu, a silhouette of Joy Boy, and then I don't know exactly what I would do for Davy Jones yet. Maybe like a Blackbeard looking one or something, but I was gonna like redo that scene, but with those three, because I think that's a really good theory either way. So, and I might do that eventually, especially after this chapter. It feels like that could definitely be a possibility for sure. Spencer 5175 with the $5. Luffy and Kobe are friends, but their positions force them to be enemies. I emoji. That's like my number 1 or 2 most used emoji for sure. That's a good point. Like they've been enemies forever, but they like technically, but they've also been friends at the same time. You know, I'd be very curious to see like obviously Emu has caused a lot of death and suffering and destruction and a lot of horrible things that, you know, like that I don't think anybody should ever have to go through. And I wonder how Joy Boy would feel about that now. Like was Emu always okay with these horrible things, or did that come into play after the Void Century, right? Because I mean, we don't really know Joy Boy that well, but I would guess that he wasn't about this life, you know, about hurting people and all that. I mean, maybe hurting bad guys, but like Emu's obviously causing a lot of undue suffering, and I don't think Joy Boy would like that. So I think they would probably be enemies today if they met, but who's to say that Emu was like this before Joy Boy died? Like Joy Boy's death may have led Emu to be like this, right? So I would be very curious to see how they would interact now. But like you're saying, Spencer, like for like because Kobe and Luffy right now, and going off that, it may just be that they have slightly different walks in life. Well, actually, majorly different, but slightly in terms of they're both good people. But you know, they became enemies just because of their positions, I guess you could say, eventually. But like I was saying, you know, if Kobe became Fleet Admiral or Commander-in-Chief, whatever Kong was, and he, you know, started like pillaging all these poor places and hurting all sorts of people, I would imagine that Luffy would become like a legitimate enemy of Kobe, right? I don't think he would be like best friends with Kobe anymore. But it's because Kobe's actually decent that they are friends. So I hope, so going back to Joy Boy and Emu, I would hope that, you know, Emu wasn't always bad, but maybe they just became bad because of post Joy Boy things, you know? But it is a good connection to think of it that way, you know? Like, they can be enemies but friends at the same time in a weird way, right? Mr. Bushido with the €2. Told you Carrot was going to show up in these 10 chapters. Hey, the cover requests don't count. You were right, though, that Carrot made an appearance, and it was your Carrot, not the Syrup Village Carrot. But the cover requests don't count. We all know that. This is you know, if it was the start of a cover story, then that would be the craziest prediction of all time. But regardless, it is, I mean, Oda threw you a bone for sure. It's kind of wild. Alejandro Solis with the $5 super chat. First world, it said that they touched the forbidden sun from the earth. Could it be that the black flames are the omens from desire of the enslaved? I definitely think there's a connection between the two. I don't necessarily feel strong enough to say that like the Forbidden Sun and the Omens are like the same thing, or or even, you know, that maybe like the Forbidden Sun was warped into this power in some way. But I definitely think there's a connection between the two, because Emu said its power dwells in all things. And remember how Vegapunk said the energy is like swirling all around us or whatever. Well, if you look at the mural, going back to the Forbidden Sun thing, you see little energy balls everywhere, all over the mural, right? They are all over the place. But you also see the like enslaved people bringing it up from the core of the earth. So it tells me that like whatever this power is, like it is in the earth, but I guess it's also in everybody, and I don't really understand what the full connection is. But there's definitely a play here. Like this feels like an evil Forbidden Sun sort of thing, right? Like it could be tied to that, but it feels like something else is at play here. But like I said, its power dwells in all things. Energy's all around us. The Forbidden Sun energy was everywhere. Like, there's definitely a connection. I don't know what it is, but there's definitely a connection for sure. Now I'm really curious to see what it is too in context of like the devil fruits. Like I could definitely see what the devil fruit, or how the devil fruits were made, tying to how omens came into existence and like the Forbidden Sun mattering, right? Like I think there's a story there where the Forbidden Sun power was used to make the devil fruits or give Emu the ability to use omens or something like that, right? Definitely something there. Terrible TJ with the $5. The hand sign makes me think of the barrier fruit and the user crossing their fingers to activate the devil fruit's abilities. I didn't even think of that, but you're cooking. You're definitely cooking, because he does that, and we were talking about like a little bubble around him. Somebody kind of tied it to room, because Law does the same thing, sort of. It's not crossing his fingers, but he has to put his hand out to make room happen. Now, technically, I don't know if he has to do the hand sign, but obviously when he does, or not the hand sign, but he puts his hand out. But obviously the room comes from his hand when he does it, so he probably does have to. But Barto's an even better example, because yeah, he has to cross his fingers and he makes a barrier. Here it seems to be sort of a barrier. It's sort of hard to tell exactly what's going on 100%, but yeah, it is similar. I didn't really think of that. That is a very cool connection. Yeah, so Emu has to do these hand signs to use omens a lot of the time, like just like with Barto and the barriers. And I was about to say, and this also applies to Barto, but if you were to cut Emu's hands off, is he cooked? You know, did we just figure it all out? I mean, it's easier said than done. And honestly, Emu can probably just grow his hands back, so, you know, I don't even know if that's really a solution, but it does seem he has to do that, so that's a good catch. That's a really good catch. Vasil Vlad Ivanovici with the £5. Crackpot theory. Emu was the Usopp of the group, corrupted by the idea of power. He made a covenant with the devil. His speech foreshadowed his past. So when you say he was the Usopp of the group, do you think he like he was kind of weak, or like he was sort of just a regular mortal person? Is that kind of what you mean? Because like personality wise, I mean, we don't really know enough about Emu. I guess maybe Usopp corrupted over 800 years could sound a little bit like Emu, but they sound very different tiers of people. Like Emu's very, I was about to say Emu's very confident in himself, but so is Usopp. He just lies about it. So I guess I could be neither here nor there. But it would be interesting if Emu, like I said, was just like a regular person, kind of like Usopp, and didn't have powers, and so he, made a deal with the devil, kind of gave up his life, so to speak, or gave up everything so he could have that power. It's kind of like what what Emu was talking about, which I think is what you mean by his speech foreshadowed his past. It's like, you know, he's like, hey, that craving can be easily satisfied via corruption. Like, all you got to do is submit your will to a covenant. It's like, it's, I mean, I'm not saying this is for sure, but you could almost read it like he's coping a little bit, right? Like he's even saying at the end, well, it's a few pages later, but he's like, isn't that right, Joy Boy? It's like, it's almost like he had this debate with people, or he like fully believed that, you know, like corrupting yourself and joining a covenant, like that's the way to go. Like it feels like he's almost coping, like he's trying to get other people to agree with him because nobody else did. And maybe that's part of what you're saying is like, you know, going back to like the Usopp parallel of it, like maybe Emu isn't actually that happy that he corrupted himself. Like maybe he's a little upset that he did all this and he like took the cheap way out, right? And it feels somewhat similar. But yeah, I definitely feel like there's like, whether it's the Usopp parallel counts or not, I definitely think that that Emu like wasn't originally this strong. He made a deal with the devil to get this strong because he was so hungry to be on the same tier as all these other people, or to be above them to take over the world or whatever. So he gave up everything. It does feel like that. And like I said, it's almost like he's coping a little bit. At least you could think of it that way. Not that it's 100% true. Alejandro Solis, you said, yeah, Emu got defeated so bad that they wanted the ultimate power. Yeah, like, imagine Joy Boy, like, you know, cooked Emu no diff one time, and then Emu went back to the drawing board and is like, well, I'll never get on that level. The only way I can is if I, you know, make a deal with the devil. And, like, he actually does somehow. You know, someone walks along. Going back to the Barto thing that we just talked about, remember Orochi was somewhat similar, kind of, not really, but somewhat. And then two old people, Semimaru and Higurashi, came along and were like, hey, we got this mythical fruit for you that's going to make you really strong, and we also have powers that are going to help us take over this country, and then you can be the king and you'll be at the top, and we're also going to, you know, get a really strong military that, like with Kaido, where no one will be able to stop you. Like, it's a perfect plan. All you got to do is kind of agree to our deal and do what we're saying. It's like, I could almost see the same thing with Emu, where, again, Emu was down on their luck. They lost a fight. Someone came along, hey, I can hook you up, and it's the same sort of story, right? Feels like that could definitely be where this is going, for sure. Mr. Bushido with the €2. Lightning is effective due to the steel heart metal. Yeah, I think for Summers that would work, but at least for me, I'm not convinced that Harold and Emu have them, because like for Harold, I mean, it could be that if you get to the second tier of a God's Knight, your heart just transforms into a steel one, and you know the story's done. But I think it's probably more that like you get that steel heart put in like to stop you from aging. Like Harold was middle-aged in his prime, gonna live a really long time. He didn't need to get a steel heart yet, and so maybe it's just me, but I'm not sure if he did. He could have, but I wouldn't bank on it, you know what I'm saying? Then for Emu, I'm like, I genuinely have no idea what to expect. It could be a steel heart for the same reasons as everyone else, and that's why he's immortal and all that. But I would also think that with him being the head of the snake, so to speak, you know, and him being the source of all these powers, that he probably doesn't have a heart like the others. Like he probably has like more genuine immortality somehow. So yeah, I guess I'm just a little 50-50. It's not that that isn't the case, because that would be the simple answer, right? And also they are magnetic, so that would still probably work for Harold because he could regenerate. So like even that, like maybe the electrocution kind of cancels the electromagnetism sort of, or something, you know. But yeah, I guess we'll see. That's a safe answer to go with. So by the way, I just noticed Terrible TJ just gifted 5 more memberships, or I don't know if you gifted any of the stream, but I know other people did. So thank you either way, Terrible TJ, for all your generosity as usual. W's in the chat for my guy TJ. And real quick, I'm gonna go just make sure I am I know I have a good amount of super chats still to get through, but I just want to make sure I'm not missing too much. So I did shout out Repo, Gigi, and Bean Boy earlier. I shouted out Knack during the reaction, and then it was just yours. All right, cool. I think I'm good there. All right, let's see. Where was I at? Mr. Bushido. Now I'm on to Alexander Fiorello, round 2 with the $5. What if Joy Boy's definition of dominion is using covenants like a Jolly Roger, only for positive alliances and good, clean power, perhaps Luffy's dream? Yeah, I like that a lot because I brought this up in my one emu video, which, by the way, I think I told you guys ago. And after 10 days, if they don't respond or counter me again, then it's supposed to just be all good. It's supposed to be cleared. And I haven't heard anything. So I'm guessing sometime tonight or tomorrow morning that video will be back up if anybody cares. I know it's, a couple weeks ago in a chapter video, but it should be okay. And the reason that matters for now is also that I was kind of waiting to see how that would resolve before doing another video, because 3 strikes and my channel just disappears. I get Lelucia, so hopefully that'll get resolved tomorrow, and if it does, I'll be able to do a video on this chapter, because I had a lot I wanted to say last chapter as well, but did not want to get Lelucia'd. So, but anyway, and the reason I even thought about that video is in that video I brought up that Emu's cape kind of feels like their Jolly Roger in a way, because obviously the mark of the covenant or whatever is on the back of it, and I don't know, it just made me feel like that's Emu's Jolly Roger, is that mark of the covenant. And so going back to what you're saying and going back throughout the story with like Drum Kingdom and even like Laboon having the Straw Hat Jolly Roger on his face, it's like that mark kind of means it does mean a covenant, but in a very like loose way, at least loose compared to these kind of covenants, right? It's not like you're actually forcing that person to agree. That it's just they do through their own free will. And that might be kind of the lesson, is like, yeah, well, like you want people who are there by their own free will because they're choosing to be there every single day, every moment of the day. They could walk away, but they can't. It's a little bit worse when they can't walk away or they die, because then you don't really have someone who believes, you just have someone who's afraid of you, really, right? And so I would like that, if that's where this is going, is that Emu forces people to be their friend, essentially, and Luffy just lets people choose, and I think that'd be powerful. So I think I'm with you. Rapo with the £2 super chat. No more polka dot theories. Hey man, if you got any more, I know we went through all of them on the last stream, or was it last chapter reaction, or maybe it was the prediction stream? I can't remember, but I know we went through all of them. Hey, I mean, I do have I still got this here. I got my demonic packs from RuneScape still here. I was cleaning up my Streamlabs setup before this, and I saw this. I was like, you know what? I'll leave it here just in case I find a reason to bring it up. I don't know. I still feel like the polka dots are tying to these nodes, like, they each do a different power up or something. I don't know, but hey, if you got any more, let me know. Let me know. Cloud Lizard with the $2. Emu is a polka dot flying goat. Are you talking about man, somebody brought him up last stream. I can't remember his name now. The guy from Skypiea, Gonfal's horse. Is that, what was his name? Pierre. Was that a Pierre joke? I don't even really know what Pierre technically is. I feel like he's a bunch of different. He's a bird and a horse, but he also has horns, or horn-like ears, I should say. Yeah, I don't know. I do think there's something to that. The fact that Oda had God's pet be polka dotted, that's crazy. That's crazy. Terrible TJ with the $2. And an L shape, or change the shape of his weapon. That's true. Cause yeah, I mean, well, even like with the gold in general, right? By putting the gold like around Luffy's fist and all that. That is That is a good point. Yeah, man, and you know, even in this chapter, whenever I think it was Emu who said it, I mean, I can't find it. The thing about, like, is there a difference between a god and a devil? Or yeah, is there a difference between a god and a devil? You know, I said it before the stream, but whenever I saw the chapter title, I was like, oh, is an L showing up? So we got God and the devil in the same place. So I'm still holding out hope. Still holding out hope that an L shows up at some point. Because I mean, these parallels are they're all over the place, right? It's Oda's throwing it right in our face that there's some N L stuff going on here. So even the lightning getting used right now, it would be kind of crazy. I don't think this is gonna happen. This would be too crazy. But if Emu beat Loki, and then an L showed up, and maybe lightning really is like one of the weaknesses of Emu or the Gods Knights, and then an L showed up, and then Emu's like, another lightning user. Well, I can't battle two in one day or something, and Emu leaves because an L shows up. Again, I don't think that's likely, but if lightning really is their weakness, I don't know. I'm just trying to find a way to get an L here, man. That's all I want. Vasile Vlad Ivanovici with the £5. Final theory for tonight. Emu will, at one point in the future, retreat in the abyss where Blackbeard will wait for him, devouring him with his darkness. I do think that, like, as far as retreating into the abyss, like, I'm very curious on, like, when someone goes from one pentagram to another, like, are they in the abyss for a time period between that, or are they literally going in one and out the other, like, at the same time? You know what I mean? Like, is it a wormhole where, like, or is it like a portal where, like, if you put half your body in, half your body is sticking out the other side? Or is it like a wormhole where, like, there is actually like a trip through something to get to the other side, right? If you go to the anime, Saturn, whenever he went to Egghead, you could see him, like, scurrying through some darkness to Egghead. And I don't know if that's just Toei taking some creative liberty there or something, but it does kind of look like they are in somewhere, right? Like maybe they teleport to the abyss or the underworld and then use that as a shortcut to then go to the other place or something like that. I think that would be fitting if that was how it worked. I'm not 100% sure if it is. But if it is, then Blackbeard could definitely just be in there waiting for Emu to catch. I mean, maybe, like, in the abyss, Emu is, you know, vulnerable in some way, and that's why Blackbeard's waiting there. It could maybe parallel a little bit of Blackbeard going to level 6 of Impel Down, because, like, he went to the furthest depths of hell to go get, you know, the worst devils or demons that the world has to offer that were locked away or whatever. Impel Down's supposed to be like the underworld, right? It's sort of like Blackbeard broke into hell in a very loose way already and got, like, crewmates, and so maybe he finds a way into the real hell somehow, you know, and that's how he catches Emu. I think that could be possible. I could also see Blackbeard just waiting back in the flower room, because, you know, just to parallel back to Rox, because Rox went in the flower room and just, like, you know, shocked all of us. Maybe Blackbeard goes in there while Emu's here, so then whenever Emu goes back, maybe Emu will be kind of tired, or not even from the fight, but just from the sickness or whatever's going on with him, and then that might be a good opportunity as well. So yeah, I do think Blackbeard cooking Emu, not here in Elbaf, although I'm not opposed, but eventually that it feels like that's going to happen for sure. Especially with Rox or Eris saying that Rox wasn't ready yet on God Valley, which tells me they had a plan, and I'm sure Blackbeard has been aware of the plan and getting prepared, and he has the tricks to stop all this. So yeah, it's going to happen. It'd be really cool if it was in the Abyss, though, for sure. Chryso Man Diaz, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but with the 50, is that DKK? Is that the Danish krona? Is that what that is? Is that correct? Krone, not krona, just krone. I'm happy I got most of the way there. Thank you very much. I was looking at the image of Luffy dancing in Skypiea, and Joy Boy is in the same position. Emu really must have some drum trauma. Do you mean, you mean right? Oh, yeah, so I guess what you're saying is, like, because Joy Boy has his hand up, so are you saying that Joy Boy might be in the Nika pose here in this panel? Is that what you're getting at? I didn't really think about that. I almost looked at it like he was, like, waving, because it does look like he has his hand open, and usually I think the Nika dance is, like, their hands are in fists. I don't know if that's really that important, though. That's interesting. I didn't really catch that. That would be kind of cool. Yeah, like what if what if Emu really does have some like whenever Luffy goes into Gear 5th, I want to see Emu's reaction to that, because you know, during this chapter we saw Luffy eating as much food as he could so he can go and help. So I think Luffy is going to go up there and get involved very shortly. Probably next chapter, to be honest with you. And so we're gonna hear that. So I am curious if he's gonna have a little PTSD, right, about the drums. I think that'd be cool. That would be very cool. Mr. Bushido with the €2. Emu tries to Domi Usopp and it fails. Usopp is of the D. I agree with that. I agree with both angles, that he is of the D and that he can't get Domi reversied. Now, is it possible that the Domi reversey canceling thing isn't related to the will of D, and so all of this is born from something else? That's possible. But still, I agree with both of these points, that it won't work on Usopp, and he's a D-Clan member for sure. Let's see. The C-Man 2 with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, C-Man. Never would have started making my own content if I didn't watch you, dude. 10 out of 10 chapters. So excited to get background on Emu and Joy Boy. Let's go, Knicks. Oh man, that you were cooking. You were cooking until that last part. But no, see, man, that made my day, dude. Seriously, hold on, let me see if I can find your super chat live here so I can pull up your channel real quick. But that is seriously super awesome. I am honored. I'm genuinely honored. I know whenever I got started, you know, there was a couple people for me too that were kind of similar, where they kind of gave me that final push to get started. So I'm genuinely honored, C-Man. I just gave you a subscribe. I love your little channel banner at the top as well. Seems like you do some gaming stuff. I haven't even beat Baldur's Gate yet, to be honest with you. But I'm honored. Seriously, thank you. As for the Let's Go Knicks part, we got to talk about that. That's a problem. I'm not gonna lie. It's not a problem, because what I want to happen, my ideal scenario, is that the Knicks, you know, well, it's weird because, like, I should want the Knicks to lose, but the Knicks are the toughest battle for the Celtics, probably, right? So I need the Knicks to win, and then I need you guys to win again against the Celtics, because then hopefully you'll be playing the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals. Hopefully the Knicks will be exhausted from having a tough series against Atlanta, an even tougher series against Boston. They'll squeak it out in 7 games, and then they'll get to play, hopefully, the fully refreshed Cleveland Cavaliers in the conference finals. That's my dream. So I guess really you're not crazy. I was having this conundrum the other night because I was watching the Hawks and Knicks game, and I was like, I kind of want the Knicks to lose, but I also don't think the Hawks have a chance against the Celtics, right? And then, not to get on a whole NBA tangent here, but which I already did, but then the Sixers last night beat the Boston Celtics in, I don't know, it's not the craziest game ever, but for me it's really crazy because, like, they lost Joel, and like the Celtics been playing really well, and they're playing at home and all that, and they got blown out by the Sixers pretty much. So now I'm like, well, maybe I don't need the Knicks to win. Maybe the Sixers can take care of business, you know? So, I don't know. We'll see. But for now, I probably will be rooting for the Knicks to win. I think that is the best path. I like the Cavs' chances against the Knicks more than the Celtics. So we'll see. Cavs Knicks would be that's probably my ideal conference finals. That would be really hype. So not so. Got to shout out Kev Dog. I was thinking about catching a Sixers and Cavs game in Philly with him this year, but both of our teams were injured the whole season, so it wasn't really worth the money this year. But maybe eventually. But yeah, thank you again, C man. Keep grinding, man. Keep grinding. YouTube, especially the last couple years, I feel like it's become a really tough grind, but keep at it. Keep improving your craft, and it'll pan out. Where we at? Cloud Lizard with the $2 super chat. Soge King equals Domi Reversi Usopp. Well, I just had this whole tangent about, well, not a whole tangent, but I just said how I don't think Usopp will get Domi Reversi'd. But if he did, then I agree it would be Soge King. And we can kind of merge the idea of him not getting Domi Reversi'd with this, because I think if he did, he would probably get the power up, but not have to listen to Imu, right? I think that is probably where Oda would go with it. Like, let him take advantage of the power up all on his own. And that I actually like. The other option is that we see Usopp's greatest fear, and that's Soge King. Soge King's got to make an appearance in this arc, I feel like. Like, the nightmare makes a little bit more sense to me, because, like, a lot of the nightmares are already sort of like caricatures of the fears, and I just think getting like a caricature of Soge King out and like Usopp fighting him, because like Soge King is kind of already a caricature of Usopp a little bit, you know, like with like even like the drawings on the mask, it's like kind of goofy and stuff, and so like if we had like a caricature of Usopp's caricature, that would just be kind of cool, I think. But the Domi Reversi could work as well, as long as he is like in control of it. I could see that too. Terrible TJ with the $5 super chat. Oda is intentionally paralleling Imu gigantifying his body like Luffy does with Gear 3. The way he changed his weapon shape is a reference to Sun Wukong. Oh, that's a good point too. I didn't think about the Sun Wukong references, but you're right. Yeah, I was too locked into the Zeus part of it, but you're right. That you could definitely reason that, and actually going back to Enel as well a little bit. And the climb attack too, because even like with the cloud coming out of it and stuff, right? There's a lot of Sun Wukong stuff there. But yeah, whenever I first saw Imu's arm grow, that's what I thought we were about to get, is a Gear 3 parallel, or Shadow's Asgard, because remember, like, Moria's body got real bulky and bubbly and grotesque, right? It was very weird. Felt similar. But I definitely think the gigantification in general is paralleling, well, I guess it's paralleling gigantification in general, because we've seen, you know, Caesar try to figure it out with drugs and, like, you know, whatever other instances. But I think there's definitely a Luffy angle here too, because with Gear 5th he can become giant too, right? And so I do think there's something to say there for the parallels for sure. Like it's like Imu and Luffy's parallels kind of mirror each other, but in a very weird, you know, way, I guess. Mr. Bushido with the €5. Imu talking about dominating people and seeing Joy Boy reminds me of Shiki in the Ed War. He tells Roger that they can rule the world together, and Roger says no. Yeah, I guess there is a little bit of a connection there. And you could even you know, bring up the fact that Shiki told Roger, like, I know you know the location of an ancient weapon, which I am 99% sure is Uranus. And Loki might be Uranus or have a connection to Uranus because of the eyes, and I mean, he brings down lightning, and Ragnir has ice, like he has like sort of weather powers. You know, we've talked about this on the channel a bunch. There's probably something there. And so that would be a cool tie-in too, right? That Shiki brought up potentially Uranus, and then maybe now as Imu has a similar speech, it's to Uranus. I think that would be like really crazy. And now all we got to do is get Shiki in the arc, right? I know you're on that agenda, Bushido. It feels more and more unlikely every chapter, but if we don't see Shiki now, I don't know when. I don't know. I mean, you know, he was on an island with a bunch of giant creatures, and if he was tied to Uranus and we learn about it here, it feels like he should be here, but I don't know. I don't know. Then you also said, what happens when you hit Mu with lightning? The same thing that happens to everyone else. Storm X-Men. Do you have back channel for your channel in videos? Okay, hold on. Let me decipher this. This is like, sometimes it's like deciphering a poneglyph a little bit. You know, I'm sure Robin has to check her notes sometimes. What happens when you hit Emu with lightning? The same thing that happens to everyone else. Storm X-Men. Are you trying to say that's a quote from Storm, or are you just shouting out Storm from X-Men in general? I guess that's what I'm sort of confused on. But yeah, I mean, like, because the other instances we've seen with lightning, I guess you could reason that like Emu even getting hurt from the lightning is maybe proof that, you know, Emu is like weak to it or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sort of torn on the lightning thing. Like, it feels like they're weak to it, but I also feel like that's kind of simple, you know? I don't know. But you also said, do you have a back channel for your channel and videos? I don't have, I mean, I have redacted, obviously. I don't put the other videos there. I do have them like on file on my computer, in case I did want to, in case my channel got nuked. I do have every video saved somewhere. So I'll be able to, if I could, in theory, re-upload every video, that I ever had, in case that happens. I really hope that doesn't happen. Computer, I just started putting them on like a drive, like a online, you know, cloud storage. And now that is really big because every video is pretty big. So like I pay a lot of money to keep the library of videos alive just in case. And I mean, I put other stuff on there. It's not just those, but I do have to pay for the storage because there's so many files. So I do that, but hopefully we don't have to ever cross that road. I'm hoping that never happens. I'm hoping we can avoid that entirely. That's the goal, at least. Michael Holland, I think it's Holland back. I can't see the full name right here, but you said watching from the beginning. Love that you said this might be a short reaction, and here I am 2 hours in. I did not stick to that, but I am getting almost caught up on the super chat, so it will be over relatively shortly, because I have not eaten today, as I tend not to, because I'm waiting around for the stream for most of the day, so I don't want to get too locked in anything else. And so I'm starving, and I gotta leave in about an hour or so to get over to my buddy's house for the Cavs. So we are going to be wrapping it up here shortly, but first I got a couple more super chats, actually just 2 more. So yeah, couple, perfect. Terrible TJ with the $2. Every dot on Emu's body is the island or nation that Emu dominated. That would actually be really cool too, that there's like a map element to it. Like, what if every island that Emu deleted is now on his body? Like, he couldn't really erase it. It's now stuck on him. Now, like, it's obviously we're in crackpot theory territory. I'm not saying this is true, but it would be kind of sick if every dot was something he erased, right? Because you can't truly erase it. Maybe that's it. Like, it's, you erase it from the world, but then you put it on the world, so to speak. Or I don't know. You could think of it a couple different ways, but I that's actually pretty cool. If they're like, and maybe as you punch him, you can free him, almost like, you know, you would punch Moria and shadows would come out of him, right? Like you would save people every time you punched him because some people would get to escape. Maybe eventually it'll be the same thing where like Luffy's fighting Emu and he punches him and like he loses some dots because like some people are getting freed from whatever, you know what I mean? I would actually really like that. Here, I'm gonna go back to the main chat. I see a couple that I want to answer, but I can barely read it on Streamlabs. Kosuna Koizumi, you said, why is channel getting nuked? Is somebody DMCA trolling? They might be. There's a lot of channels. I've heard about a lot. I only know of me and one other one, where we just got a strike for me. They just said One Piece all. They didn't even give me a timestamp or say manga panels or anime or whatever. It said it was from Shueisha, and they said it was for One Piece all. And I don't know specifically what they're referring to, but they just struck my whole video. But as long as nothing happens over the next like 12 hours, I should get cleared and everything will be fine. But if you get 3 strikes, then your channel just gets Lelucia'd immediately. This goes for every YouTube channel across all of YouTube. It only takes 3 active strikes. And so for me, I had the 1 because I just had this happen. That gave me 1. And so I was worried, well, if I upload something while I have this 1 and they strike that one too, then I'm up to 2 strikes, and then they could nuke my channel at any moment, right? The next time they feel like giving me a strike, I'm done for. So I didn't want to upload anything more other than these streams. I don't think these are a problem, but so I didn't want to upload anything more until that other strike gets resolved, because if they don't respond to my counter notice in the next 12 hours or so, then that strike gets removed, and then we're good. So yeah, so everything should be okay, but to answer your question about the DMCA trolling, that may be what's happening, because there's definitely been times where people, I don't know if pose is the right word, but I'll say it anyway. They pose as the company so somebody maybe is pretending to be Shueisha and they're DMCA trolling on people, like they're claiming stuff on people's channels just because. Obviously that's super illegal, and I'm not saying that is happening. I sort of doubt it is, but it might be. But there's also, companies, Shueisha or whoever, they also kind of outsource these legal matters to different companies. And I don't know this is a fact for sure, but I would venture a guess that maybe one of the law firms that these like Shueisha or whoever, I'm not even just going to keep singling them out because they're not the only ones who do this. Maybe they partnered with a law firm, and somebody at the law firm heard that, oh, they're trying to, crack down on copyright more. And so one of them was like, well, I'll go to YouTube and start taking care of it. But maybe that's not even really what Shueisha wanted, right? It's just that somebody at the law firm is just, I don't even know. They're acting as Shueisha because they are the legal representative, but they're not really them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a bit of a middle ground. There's a lot of different ways that it could work, but yeah, the main takeaway for me, at least, is I should be okay, and the other channel that I know got a strike also was okay, so I think they'll be fine. So hoping there'll be a new video out this Sunday about this chapter. Let's see, what is the last one? So, from Refresco, and also Refresco, I just noticed that you subscribed right before this, so Refresco, major shout out to you. I appreciate you. Welcome. For $5, you said, had thought Emu's power level would be beyond anything we've seen, but they seem well matched, which I am very intrigued by that, to be honest with you. Does this mean Emu is not the final boss, or... Yeah, so... I think the important thing is that, this is Loki fighting Emu, and I think there's sort of 2 ways to take it, because, my immediate reaction is to take it like you did. Like, okay, I thought Emu was going to be completely untouchable, to be on Demon Time this entire arc, and we're going to leave here feeling like we have no chance, right? That's how I felt. Like, if Emu's going to be the final boss, if they're really the person who beat Joy Boy, like all these sort of things we've been thinking about Emu for a long time, you would think that he would curb stomp everybody just because he's Emu, right? But Loki is throwing hands, right? Loki's doing a really good job. So I think there's sort of 2 ways to look at it. One could be, yeah, like Emu's maybe not as strong as we thought. I mean, he's still... I don't even mean to say that. He no-diff Zoro, no-diff Sanji. This dude's doing crazy stuff we've never seen. Hats off to him. But Loki is putting up a good fight, right? And so you could reason, was Emu not as untouchable as we thought? Or are we witnessing the power of Loki and the Nidhogg, right? And personally, I lean more towards the latter, that what Oda wants us to take from this is that the Nidhogg is a big deal. That, because you even look on the mural, assuming that's the Nidhogg at the top of the tree, he's fighting the Hellfire Serpent. And and I forget some of the dialogue from Emu before this, but he was like really hyping up the Nidhogg. And so I think that's what we're learning, is that this fruit, like the reason why it was so important, why Rox was talking about it, why people were looking for it, why it was protected by Ragnir, all this kind of stuff, it's because of how strong it is, you know? And now Loki, to be fair, Loki is also doing well even without the Nidhogg fruit, like when he's just in his base form. But honestly, even looking back at that, like, let me go look at this. Like, yeah, like he didn't really get a good hit on Emu until Emu was distracted by yelling, like, "Isn't that right, Joy Boy?" And then Loki's like, "You still lost in thought? That tells me you're underestimating me." Like I think, you know, that's kind of showing us that I think Emu is above him, but it's just that he's like got some mental stuff going on, right? He's not paying full attention. Going back to the Katakuri fight, his observation hockey is not up to speed, I guess. But yeah, I think the takeaway we're supposed to get is that Loki's the real deal. That Loki's the real deal, and that Emu is also the real deal when he's like actually trying, right? I think that's also the other angle to it. I would venture a guess that Emu hasn't had a serious fight in 800 years probably, so maybe he's got to wake up a little bit. But Emu's reaction to, like, whenever he says Nidhogg, and like you can see he's really worried, and then he activates the hand signs and probably protects against it. Like, he was stressed. So yeah. Now with all that being said, I do think Blackbeard's going to end up being the final villain. But as for now, I don't think Oda wants us to kind of, you know, start doubting Emu too much. I think this is more about the seriousness of the Nidhogg, you know. That's how I'm thinking of it. Let's see. Plume Black Hat, you said that he was smiling after getting hit too. Yeah, I loved that. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, there's some things in One Piece where, like, I don't even need the words, you know, just seeing the art, like, you can feel the emotion and, like, the hype kind of percolating up from the pages. And that's how I felt in that final part where, like, Emu tanked that attack and he's like, "Thou really hast returned." And he smiles. It's like he's pumped that the challenge is here, you know? Oh, I love it, man. I love it. One Piece is cooking. One Piece is seriously cooking. Well, all right, guys. I think that's about it for today. This was a phenomenal chapter, but as I said many times, you know, the next important battle is starting, which is the Cavaliers versus the Raptors, you know. So hopefully Extinction round 2 continues, but we will see. I got to knock on wood. I don't want to get too overhyped. You know, a series doesn't start until a road team gets a win. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes tonight in the 6. But yeah, guys, thank you all for your generosity and your support as always. Super hype chapter. Really enjoyed this one. I mean, all of them are kind of peak at this point, but really like this one. Yeah, so hopefully I will have a video out on Sunday for the chapter. It really depends on when I get the notice from YouTube about this copyright thing. If it's not resolved by tomorrow, then I might just do another little prediction stream or something on Sunday, or maybe even Monday. And actually, hold on, before I go, let me know, chat, if you guys are still here, because I know you guys start dipping out as soon as I say it's time to go, which I totally understand. I think I heard that there's a break next week, but it's a Shonen Jump break, and so we might get the leaks early, but the official one won't be out for 2 weeks. Is that accurate? Do you guys know? I can't remember where I read that, because I tried not to look at a lot of internet stuff during the week, but Golden Week, magazine break, got it. Nico Vento, Toronto never existed. Man, I was about to say y'all gotta go to Laz's chat and just start spamming that, but don't do it. Don't. It's I try to be a good winner, you know. And it's not even over. I don't want to jinx anything. You guys are saying magazine break, yeah, Golden Week. Okay, cool. So the official chapter won't be out for 2 weeks, but we should get the scans next week. I always hate these awkward weeks because, like, at least for me, like making videos, I'm like when do I incorporate that info, right? Like, should I do a video tying to that info right when the scans come out, or like, you know, it's, I don't know, it's always kind of a conundrum because it's like, I don't know, everyone's info basis is, we're not in sync, you know what I mean? I like it when we're in sync and I know when everybody's caught up. So see, I don't know what I'll do, but so yeah, hopefully I'll have a video out this weekend on this chapter, just like a little review theory spin-off thing. If not, I will definitely do a stream. I'm not sure what day, because like whenever we have chapters, it's always awkward on Sunday because, like, obviously Roger's base goes live in the morning, and then Randy goes live in the afternoon, and then Kev actually goes live usually after Randy as well. So it's like an all-day affair, and I don't want to go live at the same time as them reacting. Those are all my boys. So I've had the pleasure of meeting all of them in person, now that I think about it too. All great people. And so I don't want to go live while they're live. So maybe I'll plan on Monday. So we'll see. But with the weird Golden Week, I'm not sure what my plans are, to be honest. So either way, you guys know what the deal is. Just keep an eye on the notifications or whatever. There'll be some kind of content coming out over the next week or so. So anyway, thank you guys. Hope you all have a great night. Best of luck to the Cavs and to whatever other NBA teams you guys are supporting, except for Toronto. They got to go. But everyone else, best of luck to you guys. And stay safe out there, most importantly. But yeah, see you guys hopefully in a few days or whatever.